Canada-US tourism is collapsing, and according to this new report, the relationship between our countries is the worst it's been in decades. Let's watch a clip, and then let's talk about what's really happening here.
I'm just going to come right out and say it. The Canada-US relationship isn't great right now.
Donald Trump declaring on social media that he's officially called off trade talks with Canada.
Our relationship with the United States will never again be the same as it was.
The relationship between its people isn't great. From the very top, Donald Trump, Mark Carney, this icy toast immediately after Trump recently called off trade talks, but right down to regular people like you and me. And I especially mean that if you're Canadian like me. Because look at these bars, round-trip car trips by Canadians to the US. Those are COVID numbers over there. You kind of expect those to be low, but 2025, year one of Trump term 2, that's a massive cliff. The latest data showing a more than 30% drop in traffic.
He's not exaggerating. We're watching a collapse in cross-border travel unlike anything since 9/11 and COVID. And it's not because Canadians suddenly stopped liking Target, Costco, or Florida beaches. It's because rhetoric from the top, insults, tariffs, threats, adds up. When a president declares Canada a 51st state, calls us abusers, and shuts down negotiations on social media, Canadians see it. And they're responding the only way ordinary people can, by keeping their money at home.
Let's talk about the Canada-US border. In April, new rules kicked in, where if you're a Canadian staying longer than 29 days in the US, you need to register your presence with the US government. That means getting photographed and fingerprinted. For some, that's no big deal. A recent Angus Reid poll suggested somewhere up to a third of Canadians are relatively unbothered by any of that. But the other 2/3, somewhere between concerned and this feels invasive.
This part right here, this is where the shift becomes permanent. New ID rules, fingerprinting Canadians after 29 days, border anxiety. People already on edge hear that and say, nope. Not because they're anti-American, but because Canada's finally acting like a country with self-respect. Travel is emotional, it's trust. And trust has been broken.
So check out the latest travel data we're getting from both sides of the border. This line here, those are Canadian round-trip car trips to the US for all of last year, month by month. But here's what 2025 looked like, starting in January with Trump's inaugural take on Canada.
Canada should be a 51st state.
Canada's a very bad abuser.
Canada's been ripping us off for a long time. Without the US, Canada really doesn't have a country.
Year over year, we've now seen 10 straight months of decline.
10 straight months of decline, millions of fewer trips. Canadians aren't just staying home out of anger. They're spending more overseas. They're choosing Europe, Asia, South America, anywhere but south of the 49th. That's not a blip, that's a trend. When Canadians say we'll go somewhere else, we mean it.
We're looking at a multi-billion-dollar industry. Literally about 1 out of 12 American jobs are related to travel and tourism.
And Canada is a key part of that. While most travelers within the US are American, Canada is the single biggest outside source of visitors. Just over a quarter of all international visitors to the US come from Canada. Together with Mexico, that's more travel to the US than all other countries combined.
It's our largest international market. You're not just talking about, an on-the-surface economic impact loss of visitor spending. You're talking lost tax revenue to the states and communities. You're also looking at job losses potentially, especially in our border communities. There's a lot of jobs dependent upon that cross-border tourism.
This is the part Americans underestimate. Canada isn't a tiny market. We're their #1 international visitor base. More Canadians visit the US than all of Europe and Asia combined. So when we pull back, border towns feel it immediately. New York, Washington, Vermont, Montana, California, hotel bookings, restaurants, shopping, all down. These aren't abstract numbers. These are real jobs, affecting real people, affecting real families.
American businesses have been doing what they can to win Canada back.
If you come from Canada with a Canadian driver's license or a passport, or you use that goofily delightful Canadian accent, we'll give you a 30% discount.
Figure the top destinations for Canadians are New York, Washington, Florida, and California. From those states, we've seen ad campaigns specifically targeting those Canadians they can't afford to lose. From New York, just an hour outside of Montreal.
To our neighbors in Quebec, we know travel choices can be complicated, but if you're looking for a getaway that still feels like home, Plattsburgh and the Adirondack Coast are here for you.
From California, an ad that almost sounds more like an apology than an invitation.
Without you, we wouldn't be as beautiful. And we wouldn't be as full-bodied or delicious.
And that messaging comes right from the top.
The Golden State and Canada have always shared so much in common. Sure, you know who's trying to stir things up back in D.C., but don't let that ruin your beach plans.
It's like this very intentional effort to say, Canada, we're not Trump's America.
These ads tell the whole story. States desperately want Canadian travelers back, but they can't undo Washington's politics. A tourism board can say, we love you, but if the president is threatening tariffs or taking shots at Canada, that's what Canadians remember. Advertising can't fix disrespect.
According to an Angus Reid survey, standing up for Canada was a top reason Canadians gave for why they're planning to travel to the US less. And when asked, so then, where are you going instead? Tied for the number one answer was travel within Canada.
So 87% of those travelers say that they'll find somewhere else to go, and Canada is tied for the top destination alongside just other destinations outside of North America.
This week we were planning on going, but we decided to make a different decision.
Stand up for Canada. You know, they're poking us in the eye, so we got to poke them back.
The Canadian government has seized on this, introducing discounts on attractions that are federally owned or managed. So that means free admission to certain national parks. Same goes for some museums in Ottawa, Quebec, and beyond. Children can even travel for free on Via Rail. And all year, we've seen proof that more and more Canadians don't want to visit the US.
And here's where Canada gets smart. If Americans don't want to treat Canada like an equal partner, Canada will invest in Canadian tourism instead. Free park access, rail incentives, national campaigns. People are listening. And more importantly, they're acting. Domestic tourism is booming like never before. Canadians are realizing, why spend money where we're not respected?
Early this year, Canadian domestic travel up. Money spent, up even more. Then later in the year, over the summer, an even bigger spike, billions of dollars more flowing within the Canadian economy. Canadian Airbnb bookings within Canada, up in a big way. Growth in almost every single province and territory, and really big growth at that.
It's going to continue if we don't see a significant change in American politics with respect to Canada, but also within the United States as well.
Americans are hoping this is just a hiccup, but if this becomes a longer-term event, you're looking at the loss of billions of dollars of potential tourism revenue in the future.
This is the part Washington should be terrified of. Once habits change, they don't change back. If Canadian families discover Banff instead of Buffalo, Nova Scotia instead of New England, or Europe instead of Las Vegas, that becomes a new normal, and US tourism loses billions every single year.
What this all adds up to is bad news for the US economy. Not make or break on a national level, but certainly a pain point on a local level. And suffer enough of those over a long enough period. That's when this becomes about more than just the dollars and cents.
He nailed it. This stopped being about dollars a long time ago. It's about dignity. It's about sovereignty. It's about who respects us and who doesn't. If the US wants Canadian tourism back, it starts at the top. Stop the threats. Stop the insults. Stop treating Canada like a bargaining chip. Until then, we'll spend our money where we're respected, and America will feel the loss every summer, winter, spring, fall. If you enjoyed this reaction, please like and subscribe for more independent Canadian-US analysis. Thanks. Go play outside.